If you guys have seen my videos by now, you know that I'm not the type of person to just scream overpowered from the rooftops. But this time, yeah, I kinda have to. What's good, everyone? It's Word here, and this patch turned Rafa into something absolutely disgusting, even more so. I changed a few things around since my previous build, so let's waste zero time, hit that sub, ring that bell, and let's get straight into it. So what is your boy Worthy yapping about again with this unkillable, amazing super build? Well look, we started with indirect projectiles and ricochet, but we're gonna do none of that. We're gonna go back to the OG roots, the overdrive build. We're gonna empower Rafa to be the one-man killing machine that he was meant to be. And all that gets even more efficient now with Soltado finally counting for the extra point. So we put a point in there, we have the Dancer class mode, we're gonna get 150 to all of our overdrive, which is massive. So we're gonna wanna get there, which means we're taking points away from the left, and then we're putting the remaining points into Apophis Lance to cap it all off. So we're starting with deft hands. Fire rate is good. In the damage calculation, it doesn't get added to the same soup as the gun damage, so this one is a little better than gun damage just raw. Then we're gonna go to Juerga. And this one is just brilliant. This single-handedly together, well, not single-handedly, right? This together with the augment makes sure that your action skill never ever ends. If there is enough mobs around, you will not run out of action skill. In fact, if there is a lot of mobs around, you can regain action skill back. So it's just mind-boggling how strong it is. And then we're gonna go to El Valiente. This, if you guys seen my videos, you know that I'm really a rabid, avid fan of Siphon and Overshield. So this might as well say Verti's Valiente, because it's made, custom made for me. So I'm taking 3 points in there because 60% damage on full shield is great. And then here's one small disclaimer. I currently have 2 points in Maestro. This is the raw damaging option. But these 2 points could go into Resiliencia if you like, well, if you want to make sure that you survive more, because you're essentially gonna have over 30%, more than 30% damage reduction from this when you're in your overdrive skill, just from 2 points. So don't sleep on this. If you need it, and even full transparency, for Bloomreaper, I will probably respec and then put 2 points in here just to be on the safe side so that I can give myself a bigger leeway for fucking up mechanics, if there is any. But for now, Maestro is good enough. And then we're gonna go to splash damage, beat barrage, because that one is better than duration. We don't need duration. And then we're gonna get Temerario. And again, another one. Look, if you go back to my videos, way back to before Borderlands came out, when I was just working on a website and hypothesizing that, well, I'm not really sure if I want my gun handling to be bad because I'm an FPS Andy and I think that accuracy is very important. None of that applies. This is not that bad, and I have an ace up my sleeve. Look, somewhere here. I don't know if you're gonna see it in camera, but I'll reveal it soon enough, so stick around. That makes this completely negated and just this to be a gun damage buff. And of course, we're gonna get Soltado. That one is really good. Now, quick break. If you're enjoying this breakdown and it's helping you out, and it's gonna help you out, consider hitting the like button. It helps the channel a lot more than you think. But alright, let's get back into it. So, and we're gonna get back into it with the Apophis Lance tree. And in this tree, we're gonna start with the Trill and Lush Jaras. Other way around, Trill and Lush Jaras. Regenerating ammo and fire rate. Nothing else in the first 2 rows is relevant to us. But then we're gonna get metal management. And this one is really strong because not consuming ammo means that we can crank out more damage indirectly and directly. So that one is just really strong. And this counts both when we activate our action skill and when we press Q again. So don't sleep on this. But then we're gonna come to my little ace up my sleeve, Al Centro. And I say this now. If there's gonna be something that gets a buff, or sorry, a nerf, this is gonna be this, because this buff is disgusting. The gun handling per second, uncapped, is so insane. Your crosshair is literally gonna be a teeny tiny hole that you can barely see. It's a pixel tiny big thing. It's crazy good, crazy accurate. Your shotguns are essentially going to become snipers. This completely makes sure that Temerario is just a damage buff, nothing else. I think personally this needs a cap. Like, it would be good if we just takes it back to normal size. But what this does is insane. But then we're going to get Jack for 5 points. This is a further 100% buff to your overdrive bonuses. It's just really strong. And we're always going to have Juck available, because we're going to damage people all the time, and we're going to be in our action skill constantly, right? Simple as that. The last 3 points, I'm going to put it into braindom because crit hit chance is really good. Like, I mean, I don't think I have to explain to you guys how good crit hit is, right? That kind of goes without saying, am I right? Now let's talk about the augments, plural, and capstone. Capstone doesn't matter. I have this one. If you don't want to pick it, don't pick it. I'm rocketing around. For the augments, if you're mobbing, Instinto is amazing because it gives you the action skill duration back. If you're bossing, Bullet Body Deluxe is amazing because you consume no ammo, and if you consume no ammo, you're gonna blast like a maniac. With this in mind, let's get over to the gearing. The best gun in the game is the bod. I know, I agree with you. If you're using only a single gun for a build, that's not a build, that's a strong demonstration of a gun. But all that said, not consuming any ammo, when you start blasting, you can just stack stickies for 2 to 4 seconds longer, which means it's gonna be insanely strong because the explosion is gonna be bigger. That's how you see those screens where it's just nothing, and then 3 seconds later, when you finally run out of ammo, everything explodes and you do a 70,000 billion trillion damage. Crazy. But the beauty in this build is that sacrificing a couple of seconds of kill time makes all the other guns possible to play with. And they're not bad, they're just going to be slower in the TTK. That's as simple as that. And I personally am a firm believer that you should play around with the guns, and builds like this are really nice because it allows to make up for certain guns' lack of damage that would otherwise just be an annoyance. But let's move on. So the grenade doesn't matter, I just have it for the firmware. I don't think I ever throw it in any of the clips, or I don't think I ever throw it for days at a time. Then for the enhancement, pick the enhancement that is good for your gun. If you have a favorite gun, that is gonna have a really good enhancement to go with it. It doesn't empower your build, it empowers your gun. Now you wanna make sure that in the bottom 3 line, you have something like gun damage, accuracy, magazine size, fire speed, all these kind of things, because they will apply to every single gun. But realistically speaking, you can play around with this. This is what's gonna make it a little bit more fun for you to actually have something to farm towards, because these are not easy to get, unless you're gonna farm Sauce Clench 70 billion times. Shield, I keep it very simple. You know my stance on it. I said it earlier. Siphon is my baby go-to. I just love these things, and I prefer this over a little bit of damage. But combos work very well. Oh my god, and what's for dinner? OG combo. Having Protean Cell slamming the ground and then just making sure that you blast everyone with 40% extra damage, really strong. Whatever you fancy, you can use. Whatever you want to try, you can use. The shield will not break your build. It can only make it even better. Now, my personal recommendation is Siphon. It's always going to be Siphon, as simple as that. For the class mode, Dancer. No two ways about it. Easy as that. Within that, I would prefer as many points in Temerario as I can get, because that one is going to be crazy good for the damage buffs. And then for the rep kit, what do you think? It's triple bypass. The reason why triple bypass is so strong is because every single time you happen to end your action skill too early, you can instantly, with my trademark noise, get yourself back into it. And obviously, people seem to forget that the triple bypass, it has a chance to replenish 1 charge on every single kill. So even if shit hits the fan and you have to heal yourself, if you keep killing shitty Reapers, you're gonna get a charge back, and you're gonna get all the charges back eventually. So this is really easy to maintain your entire action skill all the time to be available for you. But then for the firmware, look, it's Deadeye and high caliber for me always, for any kind of builds where I'm doing the shooting. Deadeye is really strong because it is the only one that gives you crit hit damage, and it's a buff that you can always upkeep. But there has been a lot of buffs on the firmware, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a snake oil salesman. I haven't been through everything yet, so I'm a little bit behind in making sure that I can digest which firmwares are really good. I know there's been some buffs around. Tinker with it, especially for high caliber. If you want to use anything else for these 2 points, you're probably good to go. Easy as that. But then let's look at the specialization, because these ones are going to be fairly self-explanatory. As always, Riddle You This is the best one that you can have. Then next to that, I'm going to take the best defense because it's a flat buff that I'm always going to have. The other one for me is Now with Caffeine because it is an action skill cooldown restoration. That's the one that gives us the possibility so that we can get our action skill back. And I'm using on the bullet train at the moment for some more gun damage while sprinting. Now, you could possibly work down to I'm a gun, or you could possibly work down to one shot, one kill. I'm gonna try both. What I would recommend is that best defense, Riddle You This, and Now with Caffeine is almost mandatory, but at least Riddle You This and Now with Caffeine is mandatory. And look, this is it. That's the updated Rafa. Honestly, the buff pushed this thing way further than I expected. So if you learned something or you're gonna try this setup, drop a comment, let me know how it feels for you. I got more builds, more power gradings, more deep dives coming this week, and every single week at least for the foreseeable future. So if you haven't yet, hit that sub and stick around. And of course, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.